This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I found this interesting. It's unrelated to I don't know most stuff that we discuss because it involves the Portland Trailblazers. They've hired a new coach. His name is Micah Norrie. The thing that's I found interesting about this is the Trailblazers are only guaranteeing him 1 year. So you got 1 year to coach.
Okay.
There's a team option for years 2 and 3. It's also below the market value, according to this article, of kind of what normally is given to NBA coaches, and the incentives as well. He's 52 years old. He spent the last 5 years as the Minnesota Timberwolves lead assistant. Generally well-liked and highly regarded throughout the league. And this was just an opportunity that he had to be a head coach. And so on one hand, those opportunities don't come around very often because there's only 30 of those, in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Much like, Major League Baseball and the NFL, there's a finite number. But J.B. Bickerstaff, who is the president of the National Basketball Coaches Association, he called that contract a slap in the face to our value. Other coaches echoed that, but not others were on the record of saying that Bickerstaff is the coach of the Detroit Pistons, and his father, Bernie Bickerstaff, was at one point in time the winningest coach in NBA history and also the losingest coach in NBA history. But he did take the Supersonics to an NBA championship back in the day. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. At some point in time for everybody, it's a business. And the Trailblazers declined to comment. Mr. Norrie's agent also represents Bickerstaff and several other NBA coaches. He also declined to comment as well, which you understand. And it's not like the owner of the Trailblazers is broke, because for him and his group of investors, they spent $4.25 billion to buy the franchise. Mm-hmm. $4.25 billion.
Yeah, just an interesting way to go about it, because clearly you're showing, it's almost as if you're saying we're not fully committed to this coach. We're just giving him a chance, but we don't want to be tied to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a long, it almost is like, okay, is there somebody that you didn't get? But I don't know that that's necessarily the case, because apparently the guy that was doing the negotiating had talked to a lot of coaches and even mid-major college coaches during the season, and basically the offer was going to be less than what those coaches were making. So, because my initial thought when I saw this story a couple days or a day or so ago was like, oh, maybe he's waiting on Billy Donovan, or maybe he's waiting on somebody else that's out there that's maybe not quite happy with their situation, and this is just a temporary fix here. But I think this is just kind of how he does business, not wanting to, have a lot guaranteed out there until you kind of know what you got. And let's face it. The general rank and file of the public. All of us we're all kind of day to day, right? We're employed at will, and some people might have multi-year contracts, but that's not really the norm. The norm is
the thought of you get more when you earn it is exactly what is happening here.
Yes, right.
Mm-hmm. And that does feel like that's more of a real world thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, I don't think most people go to work every day feeling like, man, I better have a
good day.
A good day or I'll get fired.
Yeah, no, right. Right. No. Right.
No, but there are weeks where that could happen.
Well, you kind of wonder,
I better get my ducks in a row this week because they were not in a row last week.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Jamie's right, but I do think it is more really kind of how the rest of the world lives than not. And again, I know it's a finite number.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, luckily for us, I mean, our boss is not listening and like, you guys weren't very good, on Wednesday morning. We got some new guys for Thursday morning.
Right. We're going to slide these guys.
Now, if our ratings stunk out loud for a year, then or multiple years, then they probably the powers that be would make a change.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, they may be planning that right now anyway. We're just haven't found the
right people.
They haven't found the right monkey to come in and take over the zoo, so to speak. 6:38 this morning here on the morning drive. And anyway, so I just thought that was and who knows, maybe this will be a new philosophy.
Yeah, and you can see where other coaches across the league would be offended by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they don't want their owner to get that idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it looks like a pretty good idea what they did in Portland.
Yeah.
We're going to put you on a 1-year deal. Take it or leave it. I mean, and when there's only 30 of those, it's like, okay, there's only 30 boxes on the shelf here. And we certainly can find somebody else that would take this deal, but we would really like for you, and we would like for you to have it. Timberwolves coach Chris Finch, he defended Norrie's decision to accept the deal. He said, and I agree with this comment. I thought it was a shame that a lot of the story about Micah's great opportunity was overshadowed by the nature of the deal he signed. That's a personal decision. That's a business decision. That's between him, the team, and the agent. He said, I just know this. There's 30 of these jobs, which we just talked about. They're hard to get. They're incredibly rewarding in a lot of different ways. I know he wasn't focused on certainly money, but he was focused on opportunity. That's what we preach to all of our guys. You should chase opportunity, not money.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just think, when he wins the NBA championship this year, he will be a free agent.
Well, the team holds the option for years 2.
They hold an option.
They hold the option for years 2 and 3.
Better be a big option.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously they'd want to. And, of course, this Portland job was created because of Chauncey Billups, who was, indicted for on federal charges because of the whole gambling deal and the card playing and stuff like that. The interim coach was not retained, Tiago Splitter.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The time, that's okay. We've got time for this day in sports history on the 25th day of June, 2026. 6 months from today, Santa Claus arrives, Jamie.
All right.
There'll be people counting down Christmas starting today.
So what do you want for Christmas?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
You better hurry up, Chuck. I mean, you've only got 6
How about a Big 12 championship and be anticipating playing a game in the college football playoffs? That's what I want. How's that?
Okay.
Here's Jeff McGuire with the State Sports History.
1934. New York Yankee slugger Lou Gehrig hits for the cycle, beating the White Sox 11-2. 1968, Bobby Bonds hits a grand slam in his first major league game. This one while he was obviously playing for the San Francisco Giants. 1988, Major League Baseball player Cal Ripken Jr. plays his 1,000th career game. Consecutive game, not career. Consecutive game. That was what we were counting with him. Not number of games, but number of games in a row. It's different. 1997, in the NBA draft, Wake Forest power forward Tim Duncan is the first pick by the San Antonio Spurs.
That was a good one.
Very good one.
4 picks later in the NBA draft, Denver Nuggets select Tony Battie, forward from Texas Tech.
I mean, he had a very good NBA career. It just didn't result in championships, but he spent a long time in the league.
Yeah, the length was good. Just never was the star that you hoped he would be.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2009, now playing for the Nationals, former Red Raider Josh Bard goes 3 for 4 with a double and a 9-3 win over the Red Sox. It is National Strawberry Parfait Day.
Okay.
And National Catfish Day.
I'm out on the catfish. You like the catfish, Jamie?
I'm okay with catfish. Yep.
Okay.
Del Curry is 62, Carly Simon 83, and Carlos Delgado, which is always hard for me not to say Delgadit because of all of the Sports Center I've watched in my life, is 54. And on this day, 1950, armed forces from the communist North Korea smashed into South Korea, setting off the Korean War. The United States, acting under the auspices of the United Nations, quickly sprang to the defense of South Korea and fought a bloody and frustrating war for the next 3 years. Korea, a former Japanese possession, had been divided into zones of occupation following World War II, much like Germany had been, where U.S. forces occupied the southern half while the Russian forces occupied the northern half. It was supposed to be temporary. Still there that way. And as we all know, the Korean War pretty much ended where it started, at the 38th parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the Korean War was 3 years, while MASH was 11. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. You know, I'm looking
4 Christmas episodes in MASH.
I'm looking at this 1997 draft list, and I mean, not a great number of players just stand out to me. Keith Van Horn was picked second behind Duncan. I mean, he was very good NBA player. Chauncey Billups, whom we just talked about, he was picked third overall by the Celtics. Okay, not necessarily great. Mentioned Betty being picked fifth. Tim Thomas, he had a pretty good career. He was from Villanova. He was picked seventh. Tracy McGrady, recognize that name, was picked ninth. But
yeah, he was. I mean, behind Tim Duncan, he might have been the best player.
Yeah, and I think.
I mean, Chauncey Billups won a championship, but I mean, Tracy McGrady was a superstar.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he came out of high school.
I guess maybe I should say great career for Chauncey Billups too, because he's in the Hall of Fame. But maybe that might be more based on. I don't know if that's more based on college than the NBA. Could be. But that's it in terms of guys that made it to the Hall of Fame from that particular draft class. Those three guys right there. Derek Anderson was picked 13th overall.
Kentucky.
Then it's Charles O'Bannon was picked by the Detroit Pistons. He's been kind of more in the news for what he did to, with the lawsuit thing.
And to help with NIL.
Yeah.
It's a major factor.
Major factor, yeah.
Boy, we can all thank him for that.
Lead dog on that, We can thank him for that.
We're going to use his picture in a video game.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The Red Raider teams that had Tony Battie were pretty good, right? Yeah, they were great. I mean, that '96 team was as good as you got for a period of time there. I made it to the Sweet 16. They took on that Georgetown team and lost, but yeah, that was a very, very good team.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of his teams was ineligible to compete in the postseason, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, use Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open at 806-771-0973. I don't know why he would. I guess he just finally got frustrated and just finally revealed this. But Wyndham Clark, who just won the U.S. Open this past week, was on a podcast on Barstool Sports called Pardon My Take. And apparently he posted in December of 2016, so this is 10 years ago, he wrote, "I hate Baker Mayfield." And so, when you win the U.S. Open, probably I guess everything that you've ever said, people are going to look for, why did you hate Baker Mayfield? And he's a guy that Clark played at Oklahoma State, and this is while Mayfield was playing at Oklahoma. way back in the day.
That's all the explanation I need.
Okay. Well, here's what he said. He said on this podcast, I'm trying to decide if I should tell the story. Then he said, I don't care. People already hate me. No, it's not that bad. My PR team is here. He said, my girlfriend at the time cheated on me with Baker Mayfield. Well, shouldn't you really hate the girlfriend more than Baker Mayfield?
You're allowed to hate both.
You're probably allowed to hate both.
Both is totally fine as far as I'm concerned.
And then he said this.
I mean, if Baker was a friend of his,
I don't know if Baker was a friend. But then he went on to say this. Here's what I will say. I'm actually a Baker fan now. I think he's a homie. You know, that's your initial reaction, like, screw that guy. He told the host, redirecting his frustration toward the ex-girlfriend, then the quarterback. He even offered a peace offering. I actually hope this is a bro moment for us to be like, oh, bro, I didn't know, my bad. She never told me. I'd be like, it's all good. We're homies. Let's play golf. So...
Yeah, they both dealt with the same crazy ex. So,
right.
They've got at least that in common.
And again, the reason that people have come out against him is what he did last year at Oakmont when he smashed a bunch of lockers. Now, he apologized and he paid for it, but still, his behavior in the locker room and what transpired after he was eliminated, didn't make the cut and just went crazy in the locker room. And it wasn't just any lockers. These were lockers that were like 121 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like your standard go bash a bunch of lockers and then okay, I'll just buy new ones. These are lockers that have been there forever and a day. So that's why people were against him this past weekend at Shinnecock and the U.S. Open. All right.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Didn't take long. Basically a day after the NCAA Division I cabinet approved a big change in eligibility rules, a group of 15 college basketball players filed a lawsuit in Ohio claiming the new age-based model unfairly shuts them out of further competition. The NCAA is now going to allow athletes 5 years of competition over a 5-year period. Begins with their full-time enrollment or their academic year following their 19th birthday, whichever occurs first. This move will all but eliminate waivers or redshirt years for extended eligibility except for religious missions, pregnancy, or active duty military. No longer will extensions be considered for athletes who are injured. That's what they say, okay? That's what they say. I don't know if that's what we believe.
I would just say I'm nervous about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's reason to be nervous about it because it feels like anything that the NCAA has tried to implement or tried to be able to do is that it gets challenged in court and then they lose.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, well, prove it wrong. And I guess the other thing that this means is, there were times where in football, this is where this occurred, you could play 4 games? You could appear in 4 games.
Yeah, now that number's up to 8. You could possibly play in 8 games because none of the postseason games count.
Right, but I mean now I guess you can play in 5 for 5.
You can play in all of them now.
You can play in all of them now.
It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as redshirting.
Yeah, right.
Right? Nobody redshirts.
Right. I mean, you get 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You get 5 years. You get
just throw that word out of your vocabulary because it's not going to exist anymore. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's how we're to understand it.
That's what they're telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the days of walking out of here with you've gotten injured or you got a red shirt or whatever and saying, well, I'm going to get my undergrad plus a master's. Yeah, probably not going to happen for you. But I don't know that anybody's coming here with the goal of, I think I'll get injured and get a master's degree. Sometimes the master's degree just kind of Just kind of happens. But I mean, the way that you go to school now for these guys, I mean, they go to summer 1, they go to summer 2, they go to fall, they go to spring. They're in school all the time, in theory.
Well, I mean, in the way they do high school now, it gives you a great opportunity to graduate in 3 years if you really want to. But
sure.
I would imagine certain athletes in certain sports, especially at the Division I level, that's really hard to do when you're practicing as much as you're practicing. But your point is valid. And then the other side of that is for so many football players, especially, they're not even going to school, high school. They're either reclassifying and all that good stuff. So that would make it way harder too.
Yeah, and I wonder, I guess now, because you have so many kids at the football level that are forgoing the second semester of their senior year and enrolling. So I guess that's when their academic year starts, which will still take them through, 5 full football seasons. But they'll be, and essentially, I mean, if you're a guy that feels like he's going to get drafted, especially
So do they lose their scholarship for the spring semester of that final year?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, right.
That's probably not going to happen, is it?
No.
Yeah. They'll get to have that. They'll get to have that as well. The lawsuit was filed yesterday in Cincinnati. It sought temporary and permanent injunctive relief that would allow a 5th year of competition for athletes who graduated from high school in 2022 and began their careers that fall and never redshirted. A judge denied a temporary restraining order hours after the lawsuit was filed and scheduled a hearing for next Wednesday on the request for a preliminary injunction. Well, that's at least some good news, right?
What's the good news?
The good news is that they denied the temporary restraining order. So that they now have a preliminary injunction hearing next week. They say the new eligibility rule unjustifiably restrains their ability to earn money through their use of name, image, and likeness connected to their work as Division I athletes. Similar lawsuits are expected in other states. I mean, it's like, man. Okay, man, dude, you had 4 years, okay? You had 4 years. The complaint also says that, you are going to love this, Jamie. Not. All right? The complaint also says the class of 22 athletes competed for playing time against older athletes who had eligibility extended because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It also noted that the NCAA allowed 2022 high school graduates to play a full professional season before enrolling in 2023, and they are not excluded from playing in 2026, 2027. Okay. We had to play against tougher competition because the guys were allowed to have an extra year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that was it'll never go away.
You wonder why people hate lawyers? I don't. But.
Man, so I don't know that. Surely, at some point in time, I mean, it's not like you can go back in time and just undo everything that was done previous because the rules have changed a little bit. If not, man, we'd all be in court for so many different things, right? Well, the rules for this. It's kind of like growing up. I mean, if you grew up with, let's just say there was an age disparity between you and your youngest sibling. The rules were significantly different, or at least perception was that way. Like for my immediately younger brother and I, we view the other three as that they got off a little easier than we had it. Okay? Okay, because it felt like the rules got simpler or less. So, like, it feels like we should sue for our childhood back, Because the rules were different for number 5 than they were for number 1, okay?
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't because of the time or because it was number 5. Maybe they trusted number 5 more than they did trust numbers 1 and 2. Because that's the way it went down at my house. I mean, the second daughter had it a lot easier, had a little bit more leeway because we trusted her more than daughter number one.
I got you.
Yeah. The first one will complain about that, and we continue to remind her, she makes better choices than you did. Yeah.
And
I set a pretty low bar in the house for my sister.
And in our case, number two saw what happened to number one, and she just figured out a way to kind of conceal it a little bit better than number one.
That was also true in my house.
I would definitely tell you, with me growing up with my older brother, my parents barely gave me rules because they just knew that
you're going to do the right thing.
I was, Mr. Uncle Upright.
And I will tell you this, and I will tell you this, by the time that my brother and I were 16, 17 years old, our high school years, for the most part, we were pretty much left alone because they knew that we were going to do good stuff, because we weren't getting in trouble. We weren't going out. We weren't staying out late at night, blah, 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 blah. We were working. We were going and doing our sports, and they were basically providing room and board.
I wonder if it would have been smarter for them to start with a certain class, like the class of 2026. You guys are going to get 5 years. It starts there. So all these people in college, like, for example, the ones that finished this year, don't get the extra year, but they played with people who are a year younger who now have 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? And so they were playing with people that get the extra year. So they should just start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the people that come in 2026, that's when we're starting the rule. It affects them.
But the college coaches want the older players now.
Ding, 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 ding.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, today's question, I think, is a hard one. I want honesty from you two.
You want honesty. Okay.
Honesty. And it's a very negative one. But it's in honor of us talking a little bit about Baker Mayfield earlier. But I don't know that he fits into this category. That's up for you to decide. I want you to tell me the two players, or just give me two players in Texas Tech history that you really had a hard time rooting for when they were playing for the Red Raiders. You really didn't care for.
See, that's tough when it comes to Mr. Mayfield, because when he was playing for us, and I liked his story. Coming in, we took him up off the streets. He didn't have a place to go, and then we had a need with Davis Webb getting sick, and he comes in, kind of saves the day. Then he gets hurt at KU, and then Davis Webb comes back. And then,
I think you missed the first part of it, that Michael Brewer getting hurt.
And Michael Brewer, it all starts with Michael Brewer.
Davis Webb wouldn't have mattered if he got.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If Michael Brewer hadn't gotten hurt,
doesn't get hurt, and
I don't know that we picked him up off the street. I think he was just a walk-on, like many.
Well, but he was shopping himself. Okay, I think he had thought TCU was going to come through for him, and they didn't, and so, but he was a summer addition. How about that? Oh, man, a player I really had a hard time rooting for while he was at Texas Tech.
I don't know. And if you want to just tap out and say there's been no guys that I didn't care for or girls, then you're allowed to do that.
It's funny because somebody on the chat line brings up Taylor Potts, and I always kind of felt bad for Taylor Potts because it felt like Stephen Sheffield, because he was the number 2 quarterback, got more favor than Taylor Potts, and I felt like that Taylor Potts deserved better. I'm
kind of with you. Yeah.
So
I liked both guys. Yeah. So, but I think Taylor gets a bad rap, and I think he was a really good dude too. And people that I know that know him as an adult say he's an awesome guy.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, somebody brings up Pop Isaacs. That's a good one. Jeff, do you have two people in mind? I got to think on this.
Stephen Sheffield came to the top of my mind in this because I was a Taylor Potts guy.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with Stephen Sheffield necessarily. Mm-hmm. It was all of the surrounding conversation that had to do it. Mm-hmm. Stephen Sheffield, I have no issue with as a human being. I have no issue with him as a former Red Raider. I wish him nothing but the best as we sit here today.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me when he was on the field, being in the Taylor Potts group, of going, Potts runs the offense better. I know what you think, that Stephen Sheffield runs the offense better. Mm-hmm. He was a spark guy. He brought some things to it for sure. But there's a reason you played better with Taylor Potts out there, and you just think you played better with Stephen Sheffield. That was the conversation I was having at the time.
Okay.
The other one that kind of came to mind, Chuck's not going to like this one. It was a little hard to root for Amber Battle at the end. A little hard to root for her.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great answer. That's a great answer. I mean, with all the drama that she caused.
Yeah.
Or that she was a part of.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say cause, but definitely a part.
Definitely a part of. Yeah, it was a little hard to root.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair comment. Just from the standpoint that you had a football player that really took the brunt of it initially, and then oh, by the way, she was the instigator.
Everybody went
instigator. Right?
Yeah,
everybody went, oh,
yeah,
oh.
Yeah, you have a freshman football player that's not used to probably playing against girls, and she was the one that she started it essentially.
Okay, two pretty easy ones for me.
Okay,
Tyler Shuck. Didn't think he was good, and just didn't like his personality.
Okay.
Thought he was super whiny, blamed everything on everybody else. Mm-hmm. Hate the way he used the social media to, try to justify himself. Made comments that were disparaging of his teammates and his fellow quarterbacks on the roster. I mean, there was just so much about him that I disliked. Yeah, and never took any responsibility for playing poorly, ever. Okay? Yeah, didn't think he deserved any blame ever. So, not a fan. Year 2, Darian Williams. Year 1, Darian Williams, big fan. Year 2, it didn't take long for me to figure out that he was a different person. And he acted differently, and by the end of the year, his head coach was questioning his desire to play every night and faking injuries and all the above. Thought he was milking the whole every time he would fall down and grab his calf and pretend, in front of the cameras and try to show like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm fighting through this. And I think it was all a big show. And I think Grant McCaslin's comments kind of agree with that. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so, no, not a fan of Darian Williams year 2. Year 1, loved him. Yep. His skill set, liked it. Yeah. But the personality was not. He was hard to root for his second year here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Jeff on the Stephen Sheffield.
I think that's so unfair for both of you. I get it, you like Potts, but Sheffield was a good guy too.
I know, but I mean, I felt like
that you were rooting. That was hard, he was hard to root for.
Well, I mean, no. I just felt bad for. I just felt like that Sheffield didn't do anything to calm the waters. Okay, and that's kind of where I felt like that at some point in time. You may know that you're the guy, the energy guy, to come in and help save the day and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, Potts in that Alamo Bowl, he was 29 of 43. He threw an interception pass for 372 yards.
It felt like at the time Taylor Potts would throw an incomplete pass and everyone was yelling for Sticks. Sticks could throw 3 interceptions and it would have been fine because he was trying. That was what the issue was.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it all was the team performed better, I felt like, with Sticks.
It seemed like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the defense was even better in the games where Sheffield started. It was like the team rallied around him more than they did Potts.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio here in downtown Lubbock. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. All right. Let's see. Lots of comments here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I'm going to go back to some. This is regarding Jamie's question of the day. It was like a Red Raider that was hard for you to root for. Let's see. Somebody said the Billy Joe overthrow. That was just, I'd never heard that. I don't think I'd heard that or heard that. If you'd asked me Billy Joe Tolliver's nickname, I wouldn't have been able to say overthrow. He was on Thetford and Ashby this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. I would have guessed it had something to do with his strong arm.
Yeah, he had a cannon for an arm.
I guess his strong arm may have had something to do with the overthrows.
Yeah.
But again, he must have been on target a bunch.
He was, because he
was a great Red Raider and had a pretty decent NFL career.
I think he played for like 11 NFL teams, so obviously people saw something in him, you know. By the end of his time here, I had a hard time cheering for Cal Conley. He just talked and taunted way too much. If he played for another team, I'd want him ear-hold every game. Jay Shung talked way too much too, but between how good he was and being Josh's brother, I could still pretty easily cheer for him.
I was just about to say, I think you probably had the most talkative double play combo in the history of college baseball with Conley and Young together.
Somebody brings up Adam James is the correct answer. Okay.
I never had an issue with Adam. I know I'm in the minority in that.
No.
I always kind of felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Not immediately, but pretty close to immediately, because he took all the flack for stuff that administration had done, that Leach had done, that his dad had done. And he was a pretty good player. I mean, he wasn't a great player for you, but he still stuck around and was an okay player for you. That I almost wanted to root for him in spite of what everything else was going on around him.
And somebody else brings up that was more after he played, and certainly more his dad than him. Which,
but he did play another year, right? After that?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was on that team, that first Tuberville team. Jeff, I agree with you on Potts versus Sticks in 2010. For 2009, I very strongly disagree, though. Watch the K-State and Nebraska games. Sheffield started compared to the A&M game immediately after he got hurt. Night and day difference. If he doesn't get hurt, there's a chance we go 10-2 and get to a BCS bowl game. Okay. Let's see. Somebody says this. I read an article about Greg Ostertag being mayor in an East Texas town. Were you a fan? I was not. Greg Ostertag played for KU, by the way. He is a mayor in an East Texas town.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
And
the texter says it's Mount Vernon, which I believe
that's correct.
Where Art Briles went to coach high school football.
Yeah, that is correct too. Yeah. I was not a fan of Greg Ostertag. Just didn't. I didn't care for him. This from Bobby Hot Dogs. Chuck, how about the Astros? Quote, America's team being 20-13 since you declared them dead on May 19th. What do you think about the chances of them leading the West by the All-Star break? Looking at their upcoming schedule, I think they have a pretty good shot. That's going to be twice I've declared them dead, and they're going to come back and do something in the playoffs. The WNBA is a league filled with teams like the Bad Boy Pistons. Okay. Caitlin Clark is the face of the NBA. Without her, the league would not exist. I don't think I agree with that, but I mean, she is a face of the league. There's no question about that.
I think the drama that she brings is great for the league as far as ratings and people's interest. I mean, again, we wouldn't be talking about them today if it wasn't for last night.
Right. Somebody brings up Bob Knight. Okay. Somebody else brings up
He didn't play for us.
Well, he didn't, but he coached. Right?
If we were doing coaches, how would Chris Beard not have been the number one guy?
Number one, number two, number three.
Everybody's going to pick him.
I guess I'm in the minority about that. I didn't like how he left. I didn't like all the things that he did. I like the result at the end of the day, getting to the Final Four. There were some times where it kind of was like, I wish he'd handled that a little bit better. I had a hard time. This person says I had a hard time with Jamias Ramsey. Knew he was one and done, and his fans drove me crazy. Okay. This. Remember the lady that stole the trash can? The lady that stole the trash can for the Knicks parade not only lost her job, but the city got their trash can back and gave her 2 fines. So good for that's a tough day, man. Not only you lose your job, which it's interesting. I guess I always kind of viewed personal behavior. If your personal behavior gets in the way of your job performance, then that's when it starts to affect us. And I don't know that her stealing a trash can is going to affect her job behavior, but maybe her job ability. But maybe her ability to do her job would have been compromised because of her coworkers seeing what she had done and losing respect for her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe it also brings on bad publicity for the company.
Yeah,
so.
I think plain and simple, that's what that is.
Yeah. This freaking Chuck, as a Ranger fan, I'm very upset with you. What for? I guess declaring the Astros dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam James played 2 more years here after the shed incident. Let's see. Billy Joe turnover touchdown to interception ratio. Billy Joe threw 38 touchdowns and 40 interceptions in college, meaning he threw more interceptions than scores. Today, a negative ratio usually gets a quarterback benched. Yeah,
sure does.
Mm-hmm. 2010 and 2011 was Adam James, his last 2 years. All right.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.